You follow them on Instagram like a stalker who's in need of somebody that will please you. They trick you with their burqa bags, cars, and their money, trying to convince you that they got something you need. You feel like your life is a scam. I'll tell you what, that's not true. I'm gonna tell you what it is. You're in denial. You're in denial. You don't know what real happiness is. No. You put plastic on your face and your ass and everywhere, 'cause you're scared to be who you truly really are. Yes, you are. And aging, it scares you, 'cause you don't want to get old. So you try to trick the hands of time. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Let me tell you something. You're gonna die. All of us are. Ain't no big deal about it, but you're in denial about what really makes you happy. Tick tock, you're in denial. Tick tock, you're in denial. 'Cause you don't know where true happiness comes from. It's inside, not outside. Inside, not outside. Inside, not outside. It's inside. Tick tock. Tick tock. Tick tock. Yeah.
Oh my! Oh, I didn't know we were ending there.
Yes.
I was, I was being moved. I was really moved by the depth of that song. In denial and death and denial. And it seems to me that as the year ended, the year 2020, everybody was like in some kind of denial. We read this article in the New York Times, and basically people were talking about how much they missed 2019. They missed it.
Yes.
And I started thinking about it. And one guy in particular, they quoted him. He's like, I really miss being in a super crowded New York City cocktail lounge, surrounded by beautiful people, having to scream at the bartender to get my $23
I'm important. Don't you know who I am?
Martini. And life was great. Life was great for me in 2019. I lived in Tribeca in a loft. I'm making six figures.
I go to brunch,
making tons of money on Wall Street. Just living great. New York City was now my home. I came here from somewhere else, but now I'm a New Yorker.
I take Uber, not taxis, not subways.
Uber, limousines. Yes. I was happening in 2019, and then 2020 came along, and everything kind of collapsed. And I realized, this person was in a certain kind of denial, because his life in 2019 was going great. He was making lots of money.
Yes.
He was paying thousands and thousands of dollars for an apartment in Tribeca. But for most Americans, 2019 was not really that great.
No, it wasn't.
A lot of people were working 3 jobs just to pay the rent.
Yes.
All the New Yorkers, the artists, all the poor New Yorkers that lived in Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens, they were driven out unless they had a rent-stabilized apartment, because this guy came to town and he was willing to pay $5,000 for a one-bedroom.
Yes.
So
with no heat.
And let's not forget how many people did not have health care in 2019. How many people, here's the other thing, in 2019, we didn't know yet about the pandemic, and we didn't have an election yet, but there were 75 million Americans that liked Donald Trump in 2019.
That's right.
So this guy's life was going great, but he was in denial, and what it is the denial of the selfish. the denial of the self. His life was great. He didn't realize that those stocks that he was making so much money off of, well, some of them were invested in private prison companies. Some of them were invested in people that make drones. But that's happening in other countries, or even the prisoners, 2 million.
And he was distant from them when he was having his cocktails.
He was in denial. His life was great. And he loved living in what he would have called, like, New York City was his city. No, New York City wasn't your city. New York City wasn't really fun city in 2019 for regular people. If you weren't rich, it wasn't fun city at all. It was actually douchebag city, and you're one of the big douchebags. You're one of the big douchebags.
And he was in the club with the girls with the what do you call them, Barca bags, whatever you call them, Burka bags, yes, you know. And you've got your certain kind of phone and certain kind of shoes, you know, with the red bottoms on it, and you know
But you know what I noticed when you were singing your song and you talked about plastic? You said put plastic in your ass, but you pointed to your titties. So did you know that you did that? You said plastic in your ass.
Well, they couldn't see my ass, so.
But they could see your titties.
But they couldn't see my ass.
And right now, everybody's focusing on your titties. Because every single person is focusing on those titties, but those aren't plastic. That's the real deal. That's the real deal, and that's another thing. And this one I have to read it because this is it was so interesting. This is also from that New York Times article. There was her name. She writes, I guess, for New Statesman, which I never heard of, but that means nothing.
I never heard of it either.
Columnist Megan Nolan. She left a long-term relationship at the end of 2019 because my desires and needs were not being met by monogamy. Oh, her desires and needs were not being met by monogamy.
No.
She was depressed because COVID-19 fucked up the joy of frivolous. Now, they didn't say fucked up in the New York Times. I kind of added that in. The joys of frivolous sex. She said, I can't believe this. For the first time in my life, I was looking to have casual, non-monogamous sexual encounters. And now, because of COVID, everybody is scared. You know, like making out in a mask, you know, eating pussy in a mask, eating cock in a mask. Unless you're into masks, this is challenging.
Well, somebody should invent a mask so that you do that. But I just want to speak to Miss Ding and tell her, look, first of all, honey, we went through this with AIDS.
We went through this in AIDS. We lived in the 80s.
Through this, you know what? And you know what? I'm sorry, Princess, you just can't fuck right now.
You don't always get your way.
You can't do it right now.
You know, she's like the guy. They're the same couple, you know? They're the same couple.
You can't just do it right now. You're going to have to find other ways to come. Get yourself a rocket, or you and the person have to put on a mask and just sniff each other, okay?
And you want to know something about this monogamy thing that she's attacked? She attacked monogamy in this as well.
Well, her relationship wasn't working.
Can I talk about that?
This is exciting
because
to me.
You're the one, you know, that kind of got me into this monogamy thing.
Oh, I got you into it.
I was out here like her, you know, late 70s, early 80s. You know, we were able to be very free.
You were a hoe, yes.
And then AIDS hit, and, you know, I started to be more paranoid about getting AIDS. And then I started thinking to myself, you know, maybe I should hook up in a one-person relationship, and it ended up being you. And you know what? Monogamy is actually pretty hot. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that. Monogamy is the ultimate bondage. If you're a kinky person, monogamy, if you really use your mind, you could make this the ultimate form of bondage. You're bound to this person.
Thanks
you are bound. Like I feel sometimes like I'm a prisoner of that vagina. That vagina and those non-plastic titties.
Please.
You know, the same titties. I've been looking at these titties now. Our anniversary is coming up. I've seen these titties like how many times? Like 30,000 times.
Yes.
And you know, that's monogamy. Now this woman, she didn't want that anymore. She wanted.
Well, she didn't tell us what happened in the relationship.
No, you know what it is? People think that having like one night stands, 2 night stands is more exciting. But you know what? I had a lot of those, and I'm going to go on record as saying that monogamy is better. Now she can, you know, she'll have to wait and find out. Although a lot of people are fucking around with the COVID.
They are. Yeah.
You know, they're risking everything.
Well, see, in AIDS, they used to call it that they gave you the gift, right?
Yeah, what a gift.
And, you know, the thing is, you got to be very careful about that, okay? Psychologically, you don't know what's going on with people. And the thing is, right now, we can't do the same stuff we used to do.
You know, in the 70s,
face it, we
can't
you
can do whatever the hell you want.
You can't do it now.
And then AIDS came and it changed everything. You know, AIDS really changed everything. And I think even what's happening today, so many of the great artists, so many of the great thinkers were wiped out by AIDS.
That's right.
And you know, people just got into this thing. And, you know, monogamy, the worst thing, I'm not saying, like, she's honest at least. Cheating is the worst thing. Cheating is the betrayal stuff. That's not cool at all.
Well, I respect her if that's what she wants. See, you hear what we're saying. We're not judging because she wants to have more partners.
I'm judging.
I'm not judging. All I'm saying is right now, sweetheart, you can't do that.
No, you can. You can do whatever the hell you want. Like a lot of people during AIDS, they did what they wanted.
And they died.
Those are the people who mainly died. You have to make certain, you know, you have to give things up. But she's in denial because she's in denial about her own importance. I mean, I think that's what the connection is for me, the guy and her. We live in a society that's all about the self. This society is in denial about the reality. Now, because we practice Buddhism, we may see things in a different way than a lot of people. But Buddha said that we're actually living in an
interconnected
world of kindness. Everything, we are totally connected in every way. That's why when you shoot off drones and kill people, you know, in the Middle East or whatever, and you're living here, living large and having stocks invested in that, and you think, well, I'm not connected to that. You are connected to that. That's actually what's happening. You know, this world, we're very connected, and the virus proved it. This virus is attacking everybody except for billionaires. Somehow billionaires haven't got it at all.
That one group, no, because they're getting tested every hour.
They can set up like a way to protect themselves.
But you know what? Something you said, and it's something to look at. What are these people really scared of? We're really scared of going inside. Because right now, many people are in their homes. You can't go out. You can't do the same things that you did. And it's very hard because now the person you have to face is the one you've been running from, is yourself.
Right. And what we're really in denial over, Hassan, if we really want to be honest, is death.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's really scaring the shit out of us. So if you're super busy and you're very powerful at work,
you don't have to think about
you don't think about death as much. You know, but again, about the Buddhists are told every day we're supposed to wake up and think, I may die today. I may die today.
Not just think it. We meditate on actually what the death will encounter us, what we will deal with.
Death is a guarantee. It's kind of weird. It's the only thing that's actually a guarantee, but we don't want to think about it. Freud talked about it. Everybody talked about it.
We're scared of it.
And in Buddhism, there's a lot of extra pressure because we're taught that the mind that you die with is kind of the trigger into your next rebirth. So, you know, you could look at your dying. Let's say you're lying in the bed dying. This is your final exam. And I always choke. I always choke on final exams. I fall apart. I have stomach aches. I have to go to the bathroom. So my Buddhist teacher is telling me that this is the biggest moment and you got to die with a peaceful mind. So I practice meditation, hours and hours of meditation, and I'm just worried that the moment's going to come. I'm going to be lying there dropping dead. You'll be looking at me crying because you're going to outlive me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to panic.
We don't know that.
I'm going to panic.
I
always panicked on big tests. And the difference is when I was in school, I cheated. Like I was panicking, but then I could cheat. Who do you cheat off of when you're dropping dead? You're just lying there. You can't breathe.
And
the other thing is,
that's what everybody's scared of. Also, when they're in their homes, maybe they're scared of the fact that they might die.
We're all going to die. We're all going to die.
Yes,
and it's terrifying. And we've been through this because our parents, they're all dead now. And that was a weird thing because not only did they die, but you know, blacks and Jews handle death very differently, and we did discuss that in our book.
Yes.
What you can and cannot say during interracial sex.
Yes.
On sale on Amazon.
Have our friend right here. Many of you probably never met him. He's like, why are you interrupting me?
Here he is. And we brought him on the show today because he's
Otis.
Old. He's very close to death.
Yes.
He's so close to death.
But he says you got to live every moment.
Live every moment. That's the other thing. If you think to yourself, I may die today, one of the great things about that meditation is you realize, do you really want to be angry with your partner?
Yeah.
Do you really want to be so petty and small?
Yeah, that grudge you've been holding on since high school.
Just imagine the person that you're with right now, like if your husband that you think is annoying.
Or your partner,
if he had a heart attack. My friend died last week. He was 64, had a heart attack. COVID didn't kill him. He was worried about COVID. No, he died of a heart attack. And then let's just say he had a fight. I don't know if he did, but anybody had a fight with their partner. So let's read from our book showing how blacks and Jews handle death.
Okay. Now, this is the chapter. It's 26th chapter, and it's titled Death.
Wow, we have 26 chapters.
We have more than 26 chapters.
Wow, that's fucking impressive, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, my father was the first of our parents to die. And the funeral director was dressed like Billy D. Williams. He had black wavy hair. He had on a suit. And it wasn't a tie. It was almost like one of these things you wear with a tuxedo, right? A very smooth voice, very like Isaac Hayes, kind of very slow voice. So when we came into the room, he grabbed my mother's hand, held her hand, and Miss Ann, Mother Ann, I'm so glad that, you came here so we could offer our services to you, because our thing is that we want to make sure that your family, your loved ones, when they're gone, when they get to the gates of heaven, they say, my family took care of me. So he brings us into a room, and in the room there's like a catalog. I don't know if you remember Sears catalog. And he opens it up to the coffins, right? And I can't believe this, right? There's all different kind of coffins, right?
Yeah, black people are really into expensive.
It's not just us. It's not just coffins. Us. That's right.
So, black people are amazingly into this.
Yeah, he goes, we're sending your father to God's kingdom, right?
She doesn't mention that the guy is wearing all kinds of jewelry. He
had gloves on. He had gloves on.
But he took his gloves off at one point, and he put on all these rings, and he's wearing all this jewelry.
He's just really.
He wanted to show you his wealth.
Yes, I don't think he had that in mind. He wanted to show my mother that he loved his job, okay?
Yeah.
So
we never agree on anything.
No, we don't. No. So he takes to the back of the section, and it's the elite and godlike. These are the elite and godlike coffins, right? So I look over at Epstein, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So he shows my mother this coffin. It has a light inside. It has a satin pillow, a gold rims. I mean, what's my father going to read? What's he reading, okay? The numbers, what's he reading?
Yeah, the light was a nice touch.
Yeah. And he says to
Reading light.
$10,000, okay? $10,000. And I start choking, and I thought Epstein was going to have a heart attack, because he'd never dealt with anything like this. How my mother said, that's my man, and he worked hard for his money. And Lord knows I'm going to put my man to rest, looking good and being the wife. So when people come there and see my man laid out, they're going to go, honey, Ann took care of Elijah. She spent $10,000 on the coffin. I could not believe it.
You couldn't believe it.
At my father's funeral, he had a suit on that looked like one of the Temptations. In fact, he wore that suit when we got married, and he loved it so much. He said, bury me in this suit. So he was in his suit, looking like one of the Temptations. And when people came up to look at him, because in Christian funerals, black funerals, people come up and you look and you actually critique what the coffin looks like. So we're sitting in the front row, right? And you could hear people say, ooh, Lodge look good. Yeah, oh, that's a nice coffin. Look at that pill and that light. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. And Ann did a good job. Praise the Lord. So my mother's sitting there proud as hell. It was unbelievable. Now, when my mother died, before she died, she, in her will, told me exactly what she wanted me to do. I'm just going to read you off some of the things, okay? She want roses on her casket and good food at the service. Bury her in all white, her usher uniforms. Now, if you ever been to a black church, it's in black women that have one hand behind the other with gloves on, and you try to sit yourself, they will block you. You're going to sit what they want you to sit, okay?
I mean, these are some serious,
these are serious women.
Yeah.
You don't walk into no black church and go where you want to sit.
No. They're like prison guards.
They'll sit you.
They go from there to their job at Attica.
Yeah, they'll sit you. She said make sure she had on stocking shoes and a bra panties. She told me she didn't want to meet Jesus with no drawers on. Put her in her church wig. She don't want no afro, no locks, or none of that stuff, okay? Her good church wig, in fact, she said. Her Bible in her hand. At my mother's funeral, the ushers, the sisters kept commenting, Mother Ann sure looks good. Look like she's sleeping. I did it. Now, what about yours? How was your family?
All right, my father, Heshi, he passed away 2 years after Naeem's father. Jews handle funerals differently. You must be in the ground within 24 hours. No excuses, no delays. But here's the big difference. We bury you really fast, which is an interesting concept. Like I was at other funerals in your family. Like it drags on for like a week or two. There was one person who died. I went to like 3 different services.
Well, her family was in the funeral business.
The casket was open. By the time the first time I saw her, she kind of looked good because they make you up they shoot your face with crap. Yeah. By the 3rd funeral, it was like she was like chocolate ice cream.
And her outfits, they changed her outfits, right?
But she was melting. Yeah. She was melting.
Yeah.
But Jews aren't into that, you know. We bury you really fast, and we believe that the casket should be a pine box, no showing off. You know,
my mother.
It's the opposite of that. We're not supposed to do that. Like you know, we weren't a religious family, but my sister and I, when we heard that, we bought into that right away. My father's casket was like $80.
He had on shorts, didn't he?
$80. I don't remember what he wore.
Yeah, he had shorts.
You know, my sister and I were debating: do we even need a casket? Maybe we can just throw him in there and shovel the shit in.
No,
but we got him a casket. We spent, I think, it was $89. Not a lot. And my Uncle Jaime was there. He said, why throw money in the ground?
I think somebody's knocking at the door.
Why throw money in the ground when a person is dead? We then sat Shiva, which Jews do. You sit on a hard box to torture yourself. You're basically there to show yourself the suffering of life. You have to sit on a really hard box. We cover the mirrors because there can't be any vanity, you know? And the service itself, my father wasn't a religious man. I mean, he was a gambler, and you know, we basically had his bookie gave the sermon rather than a rabbi, and the funeral was over really fast. My mother's funeral, she died like 2 years right after my father. It was very similar. I think we spent a little bit more on her box, but they were closed caskets. Some Jewish people let you see the body. My sister and I decided that, you know, we would close the casket. I was the one who had to look in to make sure that they were dead. And come on in. It must be our truth teller, ladies and gentlemen. Epstein and Hassan, the dirty truth tellers, are bringing in one of our truth tellers. And here, it's our good friend, the great Clit Johnson. Clit Johnson is our truth teller.
How you doing?
How are you, Clit? How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Nice outfit, nice hat.
Thank you.
So, welcome. We're talking about death. That's why Otis is here. Because
Otis. Hi, baby.
He's very close to death. Sometimes Otis falls over like this.
But he's a good date. Let me tell you something.
He is a good date.
He took me out. We went to Dallas.
So Dallas barbecue chicken. That's Joe Keys' place too.
Yeah, I saw Joe in there.
So what do you have for us today?
Well, you know,
since we're on death, are you going to follow up with the category of death?
Yeah. I got a coworker on my job. She's from Puerto Rico. Right. She's from Puerto Rico and her husband's Dominican. Now that's an interracial one, something, yeah. But she cool. Now, she invited me. Her brother passed, her older brother. Right. This is about 5 years ago. And we used to go to his house, right? And we play cards. I liked him. He was nice. So do you know when I went to the wake, at the wake, they had it set up like a card game. It was fenced off, and he was sitting at the table.
Oh, wow. I've seen that.
He was there.
I've seen that. That's what Puerto Rican is like.
And you could go there and play cards with him.
I saw that. Like, if you're a boxer, they had the guy, remember the boxer? I've seen a photo of the boxer. He's dead. Yeah. Wow, that's very, I don't know if other groups do that, but Puerto Ricans, definitely, they're into that. Like, they have the body there doing what they like to do.
Yeah, he was playing cards. They had him there. They're playing cards. They had all the foods that he liked. He used to like to drink beer. And they had the Corona beer there. And I'm telling you, it was like
Corona beer. Do you remember that? Before the coronavirus.
And it was like, I'm telling you.
How bad was Corona beer's luck that the virus?
Oh, that had to be terrible.
I mean, I think they went out of business.
Yeah.
There was a company.
Come and tell you, he had the cards in his hand.
I've seen the photos. I've seen stuff like that.
Okay, come on. I ain't never seen nothing like that.
That's important. So, like, maybe Hassan and I can do that. Let's say I die, and she could have me.
I know Hassan. She ain't doing that shit.
No, maybe because, since they do what you enjoy doing in life, maybe Hassan could have me like handcuffed to the refrigerator, something like that.
Do you know how much money it costs to do that, to set up the atmosphere?
Hassan's got plenty of money.
No, she don't. She ain't got no. Now let me tell you something. My family from down south, right? And in the south, I remember when I was a young girl, I went to my grandfather's funeral. Honey, they've got the body in the house for like 2 damn weeks. I'm a young girl, come downstairs, Grandpa laying right there in the living room. I'm like, ain't this some shit?
You know what it is, though, about death? It's that every culture handles it differently.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody's in denial.
The Indians just burn you, right? They just burn you.
I don't know. I know that you want to hear an interesting stuff. In Tibet, when people would die, I don't think it's that way anymore. In the old days, you would want to give away all of your possessions before you die. And there's the story that the monk would get you die in the cemetery, and he would go to the cemetery. The only thing he had left was his walking stick, because you don't want to die with possessions, things that you're attached to. They want to get rid of all their possessions. Like a lot of Buddhist theory is that when rich people die, they're so attached to their money.
Oh yeah,
they're so attached to things that they don't want to die. So you want to die alone. He gets there, and in the old days, what they would do is they would chop his body up at the cemetery
and
feed it to the animals as a last act of giving. It's an act of giving.
I want to have my body. I won't be naked in the coffin. But people come and get one good look.
Really, you want to be naked?
In the coffin.
Really?
Just come.
You want your titties out?
Titties out.
Are your titties real or they?
No, I ain't got
plastic?
shit fake on me.
So
I ain't
real.
about that bullshit.
Wow. Now, if a woman is dead and you touch her titty, that's against the rules, right? That's against.
I got a list of people that can touch it.
You do have a list of people.
There's certain people I'm gonna tell. They have to come in early, but they can touch it.
Wow, that's disgusting. Let me just say that.
And Joe Keys can touch it.
I know, then he'll be there.
I know he'll be there. Yeah. Otis can touch it.
I think that the whole issue for humans is that we're afraid to die. We're afraid to look at death. We don't want to die. And we're so desensitized because of all the video games that we see and all the violence on TV. Like, I don't know if you know, but Hassan addicted me to that show, Law and Order.
Oh, yeah.
And I watch it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And that lieutenant, the female lieutenant on Law and Order.
Ain't she been through hell?
This woman has been raped 20, 30 times.
She been through as much shit as Harriet Tubman.
Every day, some horrific thing.
I know. I watched that show.
And you see people dying. You see people getting attacked.
I like
all
Chicago,
the time.
too.
Chicago.
Yeah,
it's just we've seen so much death that we're totally desensitized. Yeah. Because if you really are in a violent situation, like in a war or stuff like that, you will literally shit in your pants. We make it look like everybody's just fighting and everything is really cool.
No, it ain't cool.
But death is it is the big question. Like, what happens to you when you die? The Buddhists, the Hindus, they believe you get reincarnated. Certain groups think if you did something wrong, you're going to go to hell.
Well, I do notice that when you die, a lot of times your body will move and people think your ass is alive and you ain't alive.
You see, that's my big fear. Because I've told Hassan this. I don't want to be buried in a casket. I want to be I wanted to fry me up. And
can Jews be fried?
I don't know the rules, but if you fry me up, I want her to smoke me in a pipe, so she can smoke my dead body in a pipe. My big reason I don't want to be in a casket, I once watched The Twilight Zone, and a guy was in the casket, and he was alive. And I'm claustrophobic, and ever since then, I'm like, you know what? If they burn me, and if they make a mistake, but I'm dead, if you're in the casket, you're trapped in there.
What would you think if Hassan said to you, I just want you to... because they embalm the body, right? You know how people get their dead animals, right? And I don't know what the hell they do to them, but they keep the animal. But
keep me here?
Yeah, keep her here.
Right? Put me on the wall? I would like that because any other guy that's coming over...
But would you do that to her, though?
Put her on my wall?
Yeah, keep her body here. Like, just keep her there in the bed.
Oh, I might do that. Because she's dead. She can't say shit.
Okay, I'm leaving.
She can't say shit.
Right?
She's
crazy.
Dead.
Get the hell
She's
out
dead.
of
She can't say shit. I can take advantage of her. So that's Clit Johnson. So this is our first show of 2021. We figured we'd open with death. Because everybody's in denial. 2019 sucked. The United States is at war around the whole world. Everything sucked. It wasn't a great time. It was not a great time. I know everybody wants to get back to their old regular ways, but we need to change. We need to take this disaster and change, not go back to the past. So here she comes again, my beautiful bride.
What did you do to say to Clit?
I was just something about she wants to when you're dead, she wants me to keep you in the bed. You know, I mean,
for what?
I don't know. Maybe some kinky three-ways. I really don't know.
No.
So anyway, we do a shout out and
oh yes,
let's do a shout out to a guy. His name is Chris Fraley. He calls himself the Black Man.
Yeah.
Wrote some really nice stuff. How hilarious we were. He was a little bit critical of my hair, which numerous people have been. But Chris used to do our radio show. And he used to do I don't know if he still does it with Facebook. He called it Fake Book.
I love that.
How everybody is, fake. People are on Facebook telling you how great their life is, and then 3 minutes later they hang themselves.
Yeah,
so
you can't be fooled by the photos everybody's showing you.
And how great everybody's doing.
Everybody's like this.
See, we admit that we're not doing great. We're not lying to you. So
this shit is hard.
So shout out to Chris, and here's the big fuck you.
Yes.
Now, if you watched our show, the show that we did called the 3 Fs, right?
Food, fucking, and forgiveness.
We told you that we performed at this Democratic Party function, and we went on right after Chuck Schumer. And in that thing, Chuck Schumer at this event was talking about how he was going to go fight
for us
to get that $2,000.
Yes,
he was going to fight for that, no matter what happened. He was Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, he was even pointing at the wall.
He was I'm going to fight for this.
The wall, yeah.
And, well, here's what happened. So, Trump, he decides he's not going to sign the $800 billion defense thing. Mm-hmm. It's not exactly $800 billion, but he's not going to sign it because he's playing some Trump shitty games.
Right.
So this is flipping out the Republicans because they need to sign this shit. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the Republican McConnell is not wanting to give people $2,000. So here's what happens. At that moment, the Democrats have leverage. Politics is about leverage. So Chuck Schumer could have said, listen, you know what? If you don't give the people $2,000, we're not going to agree to vote with you against Trump.
There you go.
So what does Chuck Schumer do? He doesn't do that at all. Nope. Only 6 Democrats, by the way. By the way, Vice President Harris, she was on board with Chuck Schumer. She didn't fight for us to get the $2,000
all y'all going for her.
So here's the thing.
You better
Democrats and Republicans and Chuck Schumer, fuck you. $600 you gave. Plus, I'm reading this. They're giving money to Egypt. They're giving money to Israel.
Yeah.
Why are they getting money?
But everybody's out here.
$600.
And we gotta stop fighting each other and start fighting those motherfuckers.
This is the big thing for us. We got to get together. White people, black people, Asian people. They're fucking us in the ass.
And we're not asking for it.
And we're taking it because they got us fighting each other over stupid shit.
Yeah.
I'm really let's give him another fuck you. Chuck Schumer.
Fuck you. Yeah.
All right.
Let's hear what the Jackies have to say.
But before we leave, Hassan, here we are. This is Otis.
Otis has been living with us for
3 old
over 20
motherfuckers.
years. Yes.
3 old motherfuckers, close to death. And I don't know if this has ever happened. Just popped into my head. So if somebody knows, because I've always talked about I want to die while we're having sex.
I don't want that.
For a number of reasons. It's a heart attack. You're out pretty quick. Plus, no one will fuck you if you die in somebody's pussy. That's like you have a killer pussy, and that's it. But I don't know if any couple has ever died together having sex. Just think of that. If I'm fucking you and we both die simultaneously, I guarantee you we will get the best promotion of our whole career.
But I don't.
We'll be dead. We'll be dead.
I don't want that.
I hope there's no photo though. I hope there's no
it'll
photo.
be a photo.
My belly.
Yeah,
but just think how much publicity we get.
Yeah, but
and you know what'll happen? Here's what'll happen. We'll die like that, and people will finally have heard of us.
Yeah.
And suddenly, instead of the no subscribers, we'll have millions of subscribers.
Yeah.
Like that'll be us. When we die, people are gonna go, whoa, those two are really great. How come we never heard of them?
We just need some of you to take care of Otis and take care of our son Buddy right
That's
here.
it.
Okay.
So don't leave because the Jackies are here with a commentary on tonight's show. Thank you very much. We're Epstein and Hassan.
Oh my God. She's trapped. Oh my God, that was the most depressing show of all time.
I thought we were doing comedy.
They're talking about death. What the hell is wrong with them?
Well, they're old, man. What do you want?
They're worried they're gonna die.
Well, they are gonna die.
You see, we have no bodies. We're formless.
We're not like humans.
We're just consciousness. We don't smell and we don't die.
Maybe if you fucking humans stopped beating each other up and killing each other, you'd have a much more relaxing life.
You know, they're so funny, humans, because they take themselves so seriously.
Oh, you stink.
Let me tell you something. If you want to impress the Jackies, don't die.
That's right.
That'll be impressive. You know, making $1 billion, having a TV show, that's bullshit. You still die.
That's right.
Why don't you try not dying?
And stop being in denial.
Stop being in denial. You're going to die. You're going to drop dead.
You're in denial.
So we're going to wish this to you. Drop fucking dead.
In denial.
We're the Jackies.
Yeah.
Yeah.